I'm sure Mozart was wandering on this street. I'm testing here on the same street here in Salzburg, new Canon EF 11-24 lens. Hi, this is Jerzy. We are in beautiful city of Salzburg. It's, what is it, after 9 o'clock in the morning. The sun rose on this side more or less, so it's nicely illuminating the fortress of Salzburg and Old Town. And I've been here for the last 2 or 3 days doing typical tourist pictures for the city guide. But this is not what I wanted to talk about. The main thing is, well, not really the main thing, but the second important things on this assignment is to test the new awesome 11-24 EF 11-24 lens from Canon. Look at this baby. This is just absolutely awesome. Wide angle, not wide. It's ultra wide. Or you wouldn't believe it, and it's not a fisheye. It's almost as wide as my fisheye 8-15, which I never use at 8mm. I was going basically to 14, maybe 12mm on a full frame. But this thing, I can go at 11 towards all the way 11mm. I almost don't have distortion. No, I called Canon last week and I simply asked Canon Austria in Vienna, and I asked, can I borrow it for a week or so? And guess what they said? No problem. So here it is, this monster. It's a monster baby or baby monster, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Built-in lens hood, you cannot remove it. Special cap. When you put it on, it's actually quite tight, so there is no risk that it would fall off. However, the question is, how will it behave after like a few months of usage? Because this thing, it looks like a fisheye. Already few people asked me on the street, is it a fisheye? I said, no, this is a normal lens. And but everybody thinks it's a fisheye. It's not. But the thing is, it's quite dangerous when you walk around in narrow, small places, so I would be really careful. So actually on the other lenses I'm always using a lens hood. Not, well, one thing is to remove some sort of flares, but another thing is actually protection, but even this thing, you can easily knock it somewhere, destroy it. The field of view is absolutely stunning with 11mm. Let me just take 3 pictures now. So basically on the picture you will see the camera which is filming. It's a small Canon Legria Mini. So this is 11mm. Now let me switch to 16, which I'm more or less used to. And let's go to 24. And I'm more or less framing the same way. So as you see, it's a huge difference. To get everything in correct proportion, or let's say in correct angle, so like lines are vertical, you should have the camera leveled. So vertical to the ground and basically parallel to the object itself. So this is what I'm doing now. As soon as you start raising it, you're facing distortion. I mean, this is, sometimes you can use it to your advantage, sometimes you want to avoid it. But I mean, there's no lens that would really correct it except tilt shift, but this is not a tilt shift. So for those architectural shots, city shots, I'm trying to keep it leveled to, you know, as soon as when it's possible. I mean, here on this picture I'm cutting those chimneys, those funnels at the top, so I should raise it a bit, and then yeah, I'm getting distortion. It's not so heavy, but on the other hand I'm getting the whole building. If I now go to 24, this is how much I see of this building. You see the difference? Massive. I'm testing this lens really in the area of my needs. So I'm not worried about few other aspects like vignetting or something like this. But mainly, yeah, vignetting you can easily at the moment correct it in post-production. So for me, what's important is how fast it focuses, and also distortion is an issue. So I want to, not an issue, distortion is the question. So especially when you have those lines at the very edge of the frame, like you see now, this guy at the very edge of the frame, he has a funny shape, not really human. So this is not the lens for taking pictures of people. Okay, I don't have it in my hand because it's actually now filming, and you can see how wide it is. From here to here is basically around 4 or 5 meters. And you can see I'm relatively big now. Now I'm very big, I'm actually covering. But as soon as I move out, what happens? I'm just becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So if I go down those 100 feet, 30 meters, I will be like a small point. The camera is basically here. It's not basically here, it is here. But how big it is here? So basically I'm touching this door, and I'm here at the edge of the window. This thing is covering like 160 degrees. So the angle of view is just amazing. And to take pictures here on such narrow streets, this is the lens to go. Very little space to move. As you can see, this is extremely wide shot, and this is a bus stop, so behind me there is only something like 2 meters less, and I'm getting the whole monument in frame. This is a perfect example of the usage of this lens, because it's so wide. It's, what I was reading, is something between 160 or 170 degrees of the angle of view. And as you see now on this camera which is filming, you don't see the castle, the palace. But actually with this lens at 11 millimeters I see way more. And I'm at the 11 millimeters, and I see the fountain below, which you don't see at the moment, and I see from here to here, and actually a little bit of the park. I want to test the depth of field. How does it affect it? I mean, how does it work at 11 millimeters? So basically this thing is about 11 meters, about 1 meter from me. So if I focus on this, and I'm at 5.6, the camera, I mean the lens, got focus at 1 meter. So this is what I was more or less expecting. And at 5.6, I mean this I really have to compare at the computer, but of course here it's sharp. The Pallas seems to be sharp as well. With wide angle lens you can make small things in front of the lens be extremely huge, and anything which is in the distance will be extremely small. Depending how you frame it, very small objects, like in this case this flower, can cover the whole frame, especially at the bottom. And this is what I want to do now. So basically this flower will be of the size of the Pallas. How close I can get to the immediate subject, which is at the moment this flower, and I'm at the minimum focus distance, which is 28 centimeters. This is according to the scale. Yeah. So basically this is like a 1 foot. So yeah, I get a click here. So even though that I'm in manual focus, it clicks when it finds something here. And f22, let's take a picture. We will compare it. So with a brief look, I mean the castle behind me is really infinity, so it shouldn't, in reality it shouldn't have been focused, but it's actually almost in focus at f22. So let's do another test. Now I'm going down to f16. And let's do another one. F11, F8, F5.6, F4. There are 6 pictures, which I shot with the same settings. Actually, you can see here the camera which was filming. And I think I started with, yes, this is the f22. And I went all the way down to f16, f11, f8, f5.6 and f4, which is wide open for this lens. And in this example, I remember I was focusing, it was in a manual focus, in a minimum manual focus, which was 28 centimeters, if I remember correctly. So the distance from the flower was basically like this. From the edge of the lens was more or less like this, because what the distance is 28 centimeters is actually from the sensor. So as you see clearly with the f4, I'm blurring the background, but I'm extremely close to the subject, to the flower area. Now if I go back, so I'm at f5.6, the Pallas here is becoming, well, not really sharper, but more visible. And now I'm going, this is f8, this is f11, f16, and at f22, which is completely closed, okay, this is, the flower will be completely in focus, it's just loading. This picture is not denoised, it's just more or less out of the camera. And the Pallas behind, okay, it is out of focus, but it's acceptable out of focus. Wide angle, for instance, is fantastic not only in horizontal mode, like in this case of this awesome shot, but if I turn it vertically, like you see this monument, look at this, what you get. You basically, from this distance, I'm getting the whole monument. This is awesome. This thing I can go at 11 towards all the way 11 millimeters. I almost don't have distortion, and it's not a fisheye. So it's a fantastic lens for panorama shots like this, where I see almost like 160, 170 degrees from this tower here of the church to this one. I see all of those. The only problem, 2 problems. It's so heavy. It's just after the whole day, it's really heavy. I want to blur the falling water. So I have to put the ND filter. I'm at the range of 250 300 of a second. I want to go to something like 1 second. I have to put ND filter. So in this situation I have to switch to 2470, which I'm going to do now. I'm filming with two cameras basically next to each other. One is at 11 millimeters, the other one is roughly between 40-50 millimeters. I'm using 2470 to film it. You see the difference. They are in the cameras are in the same plane, more or less. So with the 50 millimeters, it's a standard thing for an interview. And then you have this 11, and you see the whole world almost. Fantastic. But remember to fill in the frame with something interesting. There's no point putting, having 11 millimeters with nothing, 11 millimeters on a frame with nothing. So I have some immediate foreground and lines, pier, water, and basically some more nature. So I didn't want to test 11-24 only in the city. I wanted to go out as well. So I just came back last night from Salzburg, and immediately this morning I'm here in Mürbisch. Unfortunately, it's, as you can see and hear, probably windy, so I have to do it relatively fast. So what I did here, I just placed this tripod, the camera here, a few meters in front of the lens, the end of the pier, and I want to have those leading lines through those bushes, through those weeds, seaweeds. Well, I'm not really sure what it is. That lead me into this frame. So you see, sort of, it's like a frame within the frame. So I have those leading lines. You're walking into the frame, and then you see this massive open space, the lake. Yeah, I hope I'll not get blown away in a minute. And so let's take number of pictures. I'm in a manual focus. I set it to something like between 1-2 meters, because I want to do the same picture on a tripod without moving the camera on different focal lengths. I'm at f8, 200 of a second, no filters, ISO 100. So let's start with 11 millimeters. One. Let's switch to 14, 16, 18, 20, 24. So then at home I can compare, also using this manual focus at f8 half. Excellent. What's the depth of field? I mean, I'm quite sure I should see the whole pier in focus, but the question is what's behind and also what's very, very near. So I'm curious, I mean, will those two ledges, those planks, will be already in focus or not? I want to see the edges. Look how sharp. This must have been really close to the lens, but otherwise the picture is sharp across the whole frame. Imagine this, look at this. This is absolutely amazing. There is a slot here which you can put the small square filters in, but I've never seen the ND grad for this. I have, but honestly I didn't even look, because up to now I didn't look for it, because up to now there was no need really, but I have to try it. On this occasion I would like to thank Canon Austria for giving me this opportunity to test this lens for the last 2 weeks. I think it's a fantastic lens. Not for everybody. First of all, it's a bloody expensive lens, but for someone who's doing it professionally and is interested in landscapes, street photography, sort of, not really street also, but like architectural photography, buildings, it's a fantastic lens. And it's definitely on my list to get it. So I hope I have to pre-order it unless it's already available, and I'm going to get this lens because after those 2 weeks I have to give it back tomorrow, and I'm already almost crying that I have to give it away. Show it to you. Get ready for the surprise. I've never ever been in a hotel where you enter Yes, so you enter the room via bathroom. So I just wanted to show you this amazing thing. So you enter the room via bathroom. I've been to many hotels with my corporate life, in really many hotels, but this is something I've never seen before. On the other hand, I must say this room is really comfortable. It's actually inside of the house at the old town, so you have this sort of feeling from Mozart times, or even much before Mozart. It's a very old house, so I can understand why certain rooms have to be designed in such a way that they seem crazy to us at the moment. But this is the reality. I mean, I don't sleep in the bathroom. I sleep here. There is a table, there is a chair, there is internet, which is important, and we can work. So it's not always you staying in 5-star hotels. Sometimes you stay in more, how to say it, in more atmospheric places, and I must say I like this. So if you come ever to Salzburg, stay here at the Krone and make sure you take room 23, because this is something you will never forget.